In 1943, Benito Mussolini's fascist Italy, once a formidable power, faced collapse. Allied forces landed on Sicilian shores, shattering the illusion of strength. The war turned decisively against the Duce, igniting a desperate struggle for survival within his regime. Italy's military campaigns in North Africa and the Soviet Union proved disastrous. Heavy losses and dwindling resources eroded public morale and trust in Mussolini's leadership. The once unquestioned Duce now faced widespread disillusionment and growing dissent. July 10, 1943, marked Operation Husky. Allied forces stormed the beaches of Sicily, bringing the war directly to Italian soil. This invasion exposed the deep cracks within the fascist government and its failing military defenses. The invasion intensified internal unrest. Food shortages, bombing raids, and military defeats fueled widespread discontent among the Italian populace. Whispers of rebellion grew louder, challenging the very foundation of Mussolini's authoritarian rule. As defeat loomed, key fascist leaders, including Dino Grandi, secretly plotted. They aimed to restore constitutional order and remove Mussolini from power. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation within the Grand Council. On July 24, Grandi presented a motion to the fascist Grand Council. It called for the king to resume full command of the armed forces, a direct challenge to Mussolini's absolute authority as Duce. The tension was palpable. After a grueling, all-night debate, the Grand Council cast its votes. In a stunning turn, 19 members voted for Grandi's motion, against 8 for Mussolini. This decisive vote stripped the Duce of his dictatorial powers. The next day, Mussolini met King Victor Emmanuel III. Expecting the king's support, he was instead curtly dismissed from his post. The king declared Marshal Badoglio the new head of government, sealing Mussolini's fate. Immediately following his meeting with the king, Mussolini was arrested by carabinieri officers. He was led away from Villa Savoia in an ambulance, marking the sudden and ignominious end of his 21-year fascist regime. News of Mussolini's arrest ignited spontaneous celebrations across Italy. People poured into the streets, tearing down fascist symbols and expressing immense relief. A nation, weary of war and dictatorship, briefly tasted freedom. Marshal Pietro Badoglio formed a new government, publicly declaring continued loyalty to Germany. However, secret negotiations with the Allies for an armistice were already underway. Italy's political landscape shifted dramatically. Mussolini was moved to remote locations like Ponza and La Maddalena, then finally to a hotel on Gran Sasso mountain. These isolated prisons were chosen to prevent any German rescue attempts, keeping the Duce secured. On September 12, German commandos, led by Otto Skorzeny, executed a daring glider landing on Gran Sasso. In a swift, bloodless raid, they successfully rescued Mussolini, flying him out of his mountain prison. Mussolini was flown to Germany, where he met Hitler. Under immense pressure, he reluctantly agreed to establish a new fascist state in northern Italy, effectively becoming a puppet leader under German control. The Duce's humiliation was complete. The Italian Social Republic, or Salò Republic, was proclaimed in German-occupied northern Italy. Mussolini was its head, but his authority was a mere shadow. This new regime was entirely dependent on Nazi Germany. Mussolini's health deteriorated, and he often appeared despondent. He was a figurehead, residing in a villa overlooking Lake Garda, presiding over a state with little real power, sustained only by German military might. Allied forces continued their relentless advance up the Italian peninsula, battling entrenched German defenses. The slow, arduous campaign brought destruction and hardship to countless Italian towns and cities. The end was drawing near. Throughout German-occupied Italy, partisan resistance movements intensified. They sabotaged supply lines, ambushed German patrols, and fought against the Salò Republic's forces, playing a crucial role in Italy's liberation. By April 1945, the Allied armies were closing in. German forces were in full retreat, and the Salò Republic was collapsing. Mussolini realized his time was up and desperately sought a way to escape Italy. Mussolini attempted to flee towards Switzerland, disguised in a German uniform, traveling with a retreating German column. He hoped to evade capture and negotiate his survival, but fate had other plans. On April 27, near Dongo, partisans stopped the German convoy. They discovered Mussolini, his disguise failing to conceal his identity. His longtime mistress, Clara Petacci, was also captured alongside him. Clara Petacci, despite opportunities to escape, chose to remain with Mussolini. Her loyalty sealed her tragic fate, as she stood by the Duce in his final, desperate moments, sharing his ultimate downfall. On April 28, 1945, Benito Mussolini and Clara Petacci were executed by partisans. Their deaths near Lake Como brought a swift, brutal end to the fascist era and a violent conclusion to Mussolini's life. Their bodies, along with other executed fascists, were transported to Piazzale Loreto in Milan. There, they were publicly displayed, a grim and stark symbol of the complete and utter collapse of the fascist regime. The fall of Mussolini remains a potent chapter in history. It stands as a stark reminder of dictatorship's fragility and the enduring cost of unchecked power, forever etched into the annals of World War II.